So, welcome to the podcast. I am so excited you are here. I can't wait to talk about your book, your new app, all the things, but welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. It's just fun to, first off, I love looking at everything red where you are right now because red is my favorite color. As you can probably see, it's one of my superpowers or super signatures, and I love it. So hopefully I can bring some red into your viewers today for positive and a red superpower.
I really do feel like it's a superpower. I'm like, my brand's kind of gone like that. I don't know, Wonder Woman colors for some reason. I don't know how that happened, but that's just kind of how it turned out. But I want to know because this is about you. What's that thing in your life right now that's lighting you up the most?
Honestly, what's lighting me up right now is my my brand new app. Honestly, it's my Confident You app because I love coaching. And it's kind of started a long time ago because I when I had a really when my time was low and I was like, at the bottom of the bucket and broken and everything. And I always said to myself, because I said, when I am in a situation and I'm capable and I'm steady and I have money and I can do this, I'm going to help people that need value and affordability. And that was a mission of mine. And now it's coming to fruition. So it's so cool because when I was broken, I didn't have anywhere to go because I didn't have any money to pay for coaches and pay for things and pay for anything. And my confidence was, in in the bucket. I just knew that once I got there and felt I was steady, I was going to give back. And that is so important to me. So I think that's what excites me and igniting my superpower, you might say. Right now I feel really good about it. And it's going to be, like any business, you're going to ebb and flow, right? You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. Nothing's going to be perfect. And I'm actually looking forward to negative things, you might say, or can we do this, or how about this, because that just is going to open up a whole new getting out of my box again and getting out of my comfort zone and trying something new. So I really like that. And I found what really helped me get my confidence back was trying new things and getting out of my comfort zone so that I can feel good about things in life.
I love that. And there's so many things that you just said that just like touched my soul and really show like the self-love, the giving back. Because that was one of the things you said is when I get to a certain point, I want to give back. When I get there, I want to give back. It wasn't like I want to get here, make all this money, and then I want to charge more. There was this piece of you that's like the humble give back.
Yeah.
And I love you're creating an app. So can you tell us a little bit about your app? Because I don't
Yeah.
even know where you just started or what apps are all about or how you're turning this app, like I want to know
I had
all.
no idea what I was doing either, to be honest with you. And honestly, when years ago I said to myself, I want to have a confidence video game. That and that's still on my list of my comfort zone of stepping out, where you can actually walk through it and everything. I think it'd be so cool. But I decided to start with the app first because I felt really that women, and I work with women who um and when I say lack of confidence, I believe that we all have lack of confidence in some area. We all have some fear of something, a fear of speaking or a fear of making that phone call or procrastination. I mean, how many times have people just like, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, just wait till tomorrow and do that. And in reality, we just need that confidence within us to say, oh, just get it over with. And sometimes it's just speaking to ourselves. It's having that somebody to kind of push you a little bit. Or it's that confidence or lack of confidence of self-worth, like when you've been cheated on and or gone through divorce and you feel like your self-esteem is through the toilet because why didn't they want me? Or even if you decided to change jobs, there's always something that kind of stops us. And I find that if we step back in our lives and we actually look back in our childhood and stuff like that, we find out where some of that lack of confidence started. And it's not like you're going into hypnosis or anything like that, but it's actually finding out where that confidence stopped, you know being fun. And so because when you're a little kid, do you remember when you're like 3 to 5 or 7, you could just like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm just going to go for it. And then all of a sudden things kind of slow down, right? And it's like, why? And you started being a little bit more scared because peer pressure and because of parents said, no, no, no. So my Confident You app is really kind of digging deep into those behaviors that we once had and really bringing them to today's world and acknowledging them. And then when you acknowledge them, we can start working on them. And it's a community. I'm having podcasts. I'm having contests. I'm even looking at doing scavenger hunts for confidence building. I think that'd be so much fun. I'm having guest speakers, having multiple Zooms. So for me, it's a big value I want to bring to my monthly app. And the first part is free. People can download it for free on Google or the Apple store. So I'm just excited about it. And I'm excited because I keep thinking of new and creative ideas to bring more value and keeping the same price. Because it is, you know, I am, once people go into the membership, it is $49 a month, but I want more and more value for them because I want them to go, oh my God, this is worth every penny, if not more. So, and that's my goal.
Well, it sounds like it's worth every penny. I mean, for $49 to have a community, to have, I mean, it sounds like you're trying to add fun, like fun back to our lives.
Well, you know what? Because I have found that when we're going through stuff, right? And say we're trying to build confidence, we want to have fun. We don't want to make it a drudgery because everything is always like, oh my God, I got to change my life. Oh my God, I gotta, you know, I gotta be better at this. I gotta diet. I gotta save money. I found when I was, you know, going through this, and I went through this at age 57, and let me just kind of go back a bit. I was able to make a lot of money all the time, but I had so many negative behaviors that I could make money and then I could spend money just as fast. I was really financially, it was not sound. My behaviors that I had grown up with that I just compartmentalized, you might say, into I call it my suitcase. I would throw like trauma, deaths, bad things that happened to me, just like, okay, I'm going to stick strong because you know how you're kind of brought up to, come on, be strong, suck it up. And sometimes that comes to a big head. And what I found is that when I did things to move forward, once I decided to make my change, I said, I got to make this fun. I got to enjoy it because if I don't enjoy it, then I won't do it. Right. You know, it's one thing like, okay, I'm intentionally, I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to, you know, that kind of thing. But when I found like even going into like the grocery store when I was trying to, you know, really save money was I would like take $30 and I would say, okay, you only have $30, girl. You know, you can only spend $30 and you have to try to be as healthy as you can. And it was, I made a game and it became fun. It was like, God, I actually did that. I actually did $29.33. You know, so it made it a fun kind of game. So I always found that when you can add some fun to anything, it makes it easier, right?
Oh yeah. That's one of the, you open my website, that's the first thing on it. It says, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Like that is my motto in life. Because if it's not fun, like we were having a conversation before about some shifts in your business. And I'm like, well, do you enjoy it? Are you having fun with it? Like it's gotta be fun. And I love you're bringing it back to childhood because so many of us spend years and years in therapy where we go back and we talk about that trauma and then we go through it over and over again, but it's not fun.
It's not fun. And you know what? There are always going to be hard parts. I remember when I had to acknowledge the fact that I was really bad at saving money. I was really bad at maybe being judgmental. I was really bad at trying to be who's who, you know, and comparing myself to others. I mean, we do not like to think negative things about ourselves, right? We avoid it. I mean, it's kind of like, if you meditate, you might actually find out about something about yourself and be alone with yourself. And nobody wants to do that. That's why meditation for a lot of people is so hard, because they're like, oh my God, what would I do? So what do people do? They distract themselves whenever possible, so they don't have to be alone with themselves. They call a girlfriend. They go running with the headphones, the headphones on their head because so they can listen to music rather than being alone with themselves. So I actually switched it again. So I always again try to change things around. So instead of meditation, I call it quietation, and it doesn't sound the same. Meditation reminds me if I need to be for like and be so perfect, I need to be a monk type of thing. Where quietation, it means, hey, just go into the bathroom, sit there for 2 minutes and try to be quiet, but don't bring anything in. And it's amazing how those 2 minutes can add up to 4 and 5, because all of a sudden, like, man, this isn't as hard as I thought. But it's just changing words, changing the way you look at things, and how you heal yourself will change how you perceive who you are. I have this famous quote by Wayne Dyer. I don't know if you like him or not, but Wayne Dyer is one of my favorite guys. And one of his quotes was, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And if you really dissect that, it's amazing how, because we're so focused on certain things a certain way, right? And then if you say, wait a minute, how can I intentionally look at this in a different way? How can I make this a positive thing? How can I build this and make it a confident thing? So it's amazing how, if we just look at things in a slightly different way, it makes life a lot easier and a lot more fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it could be, like you said, the simple tweaks and
It's-
taking 2 minutes. It doesn't have to take hours.
Well, that's the other thing, is so many people, and I'll use this example because a lot of people are always trying to lose weight, is like, I'm going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. And it's like, okay, but if you don't get there, then it's so overwhelming that you quit. Whereas I have always been of the person that says, just be the turtle, just take baby steps. And that 1/2 step will get you there, and that next step, and that next step. And sometimes we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and that's okay. We're still moving forward, right? And I think that's with healing, that's with building confidence, it's acknowledgement and changing your life to be a better life, whether it's finances, whether it's business, anything of that sort. It all comes together, just taking baby steps to get there. It's like and building confidence. The more confidence we build, the bigger things happen, and things change rapidly because we have more confidence to do things. But taking the baby steps to get there is the most important thing to do. And then all of a sudden you go, oh wow, how did I do that? It's like when you were writing or walking, you fell down many times, right? And then all of a sudden you stood up and kept going because you got used to it.
Yes. So what are your top 2 favorite baby steps for someone that would be starting their confidence journey?
Gosh, the first thing is, and I'll say this to everybody, is I want them to stop and pause. I mean, literally stop and pause. And that seems so simple.
Pause.
Exactly. Because people never stop and pause. Everybody's on a hamster wheel, right? They're on this like rotating thing. And I'm like, stop and pause. Just, and almost, if I saying that to yourself, it sends something to the brain that says, it's almost like a breathing, like a relief. And then the second thing I want them to do is actually take 2 to 3 really big, deep breaths. Now, sounds so simple. So, but people's head and their brain and their blood pressure is running on high all day long. If you've got children, if you've got multitasking businesses, if you're just running around trying to do social media, even like, posting and things like that, your brain is getting filled with all kinds of things. After almost everything that you're doing, like maybe you put your computer down, the first thing I would say is stop, pause, take some deep breaths, and just breathe in and then breathe out. And then just release that. And then you can take your 1 step towards something. But those are the 2 things that I tell everybody all the time. It's amazing what comes into their brain and what they want to do after they've actually released and done a couple breathings, because all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone just a little bit and make that phone call. And that's a very small step, and that's what I mean. And that will build confidence 1 step at a time. And actually getting out of your comfort zone is probably one of the best and easiest ways to build confidence. I also recommend, and this is just something, if somebody wants to do this, and a lot of people journal. I'm not sure if you journal, but a lot of people do. I make checklists. Then when I do that, I write things what I want to get done today. And then I intentionally check them off. And at the end of the day, I look and I go, oh my God, I got 9 out of 10 done. Woo, that's good. I actually celebrate. I don't worry if I didn't get that 10th one done. I just move it to the next day if that's necessary. I got the priority ones done. That also builds confidence. It's feeling of confidence that you can do something, that you feel good about yourself. That's what confidence is feeling good about what you're doing. And those things those little teeny things you do open up to bigger and bigger things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the pause and breathe is like, I held up a little sign that says pause.
Yeah.
I have it on my computer because every time I look down there, it reminds me to pause. Even for one breath, just slow the thoughts, pause.
It does miraculous things, and it slows everything down so you can start to focus. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm just going, and it's like, oh my God, your head's just going like crazy. But when I intentionally just stop, pause, and take 3 breaths, deep breaths, it's like, whoa, wow, I can actually focus on something now. But people don't stop, a lot of them, unless they're just plain tired. And then it's like, now you've defueled yourself. And what you have to do, you got to refuel yourself. And that's really about what pausing is. It's just, and taking breath is refueling yourself. Because if you don't refuel yourself, and people think, well, I have to get this done because I'm the only one who can do that. And so I have to keep going. But if you don't refuel yourself, you're not going to be good for anybody else. You're not going to be good for you. You won't be good for your family because they're only seeing you on half charge. And that's not usually fun. That's usually when we get short with people. That's usually when we start bickering with people. When we take that, even a 5-minute stop, pause, and breathe, amazing things can happen and you can refocus. So
and that's a great point right there is, it's a self-love thing. That's why this podcast is self-love based, even though it's a business podcast,
right.
Because if you don't fill yourself up, what version is someone else getting of you? The exhausted, I'm not even going to get my head off the couch. I've worked for 12 hours. Oh, I got to lift my eyes and interact with my family. Nope.
Well, the thing is that everybody thinks that self-love is selfish. And it's so not selfish. It's actually selfish if you don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, somewhere in society or somebody said, oh, if you do that, you're just, you're not helping people. You just care about yourself by getting that massage or taking time out. No, you got to look at it from a different perspective, right? Again, change the way you look at things. You said, no, this isn't selfish. I'm going to refuel myself so I can be the best possible Patricia for everybody. And that's what it means. But, so I want to get that, that selfish connotation out of people's brains, because it's not selfish. And women, we have a tendency to want to do everything. We're people pleasers. We have a tendency to be people pleasers. We take care of everything. I mean, it's getting better, but there's still, I would say 80% women are doing 90% of everything, right? You can't do everything and do it well without being a little pausing and being, refueling yourself. And I actually try to not even use that word self-love too much, because it actually makes some people feel bad. Oh, I'm self-loving. No, you're refueling. I'm a big word person too. I think we have a tendency to say negative things to ourselves, and then of course it sits in ourselves, and that's what it keeps coming back, as those like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, when I'm just going to refuel myself. Yeah, they want to call it self-love, that's fine. I'm refueling. It just gives it a better connotation.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's the tsunami of refueling instead of the
exactly.
tsunami of self-love. I love that.
Once you refuel, what I think is so fun about this is once you start refueling, it's like a car. It's like you want to refuel. It's like, oh, it's expensive right now, but it's still, you want to refuel. It won't cost you that much. It won't cost you a thing, except for a bit of time. And again, you don't need a lot of time. That's what, again, baby steps. That's why I say, especially for busy mothers or busy women that are working and they have kids, sometimes you just need to intentionally take that 5-minute jaunt into the restroom. Because even the cat can't get to you if you close the door, you know? And because even they're needy. They want you, right? And you want to give them some energy. You need to refuel. So if that's taking a walk, if you are able to do that, that's a great way to get out in nature and get grounded. But if you can only go into a room and close the door for a couple minutes and you intentionally do that a few times, you start liking it. It's like, oh, I'm going to grab myself another minute and another baby step. And then pretty soon you've got yourself 30 minutes and you're like, oh my God, I love this. And I feel so much better at this. And then you go out, you're recharged, you refuel, and you're mentally there for everybody, yourself and for your family.
Oh yeah.
And that cat. I have a cat, so I know that.
Like I always get the dog nose under the door, like, where'd you go,
You know,
Mom? I'm
I
like,
get the little the paw under the door, like, hey, what about me?
don't forget me. And
Yeah.
I love that this is all unfolded for you. And you mentioned earlier that like it unfolded around, I think you said
57.
57.
Yeah.
What
Well,
was that like? What was that, like
well,
turnaround
honestly,
point? I'm just curious.
there was a lot of like, oh my God, everybody else is starting to retire and I am, and I'm starting over. And I had to get that out of my head. And I think that there was one good thing or one positive, because I've always been very positive in general. But I had to really dig deep for that confidence and positivity to come back and say, wait a minute, that's just a number. That's just a number, girl. And if you sit around here and you wallow and play the victim, what's good is that going to do? You'll be 58 if you're not careful. And so it was really coming to acknowledging the fact, okay, so you're 57, you're in debt $140,000, you don't have any money right now, you're not sure if you have a roof over your head, everything was your husband just left you for somebody else, your mom just died, and you're 30 pounds overweight. And you're like, okay, take one thing at a time, because I knew that when looking at it, it was so overwhelming that I wanted to quit. And I just, procrastinate, you might say. And I said to myself, okay, the first thing you need to do is get your finances in order. And really making a list too of acknowledging, because I really had to really acknowledge all these negative things that I was going through. And then what I really did was I created a why I wanted to change. And that why had to be so strong that I would cry if I read it, because I never wanted to go back to that crying kind of martini drunk person on the floor, wondering what I was going to do with another, maybe only 20 years left. Who knows? You just don't know.
Yeah.
And I just took one baby step at a time, and I opened up the first bill, because I wasn't opening the bills up either. So I just opened the bills up, acknowledged, okay, yeah, you're in debt there, and then added it up. You're in debt 140. Okay, that's not good. Now what can we do to fix that? And it was just one baby step at a time. And I started working on that, and I started got into a habit of that. Then I realized that I needed to, okay, how do I bring more money in? So that would be another step. And, and at the time I just sold everything I had, so that I could pay off everything and do things. And it took me, a couple years to get things moving and thing, but I was headed in the right direction. And obviously I made a list of having to put certain things ahead of others. I had to make sure I had a roof over my head, because that was important. So
Yeah.
it would keep my confidence. So I just laid out some plans, but it was interesting. I came up with 5 words. And for me, I still use these 5 words to this day to keep me moving forward every single day, and as acknowledgement. And that's acknowledging anything that maybe I did wrong today, or maybe I needed to improve on. Second was forgiveness, which was important to forgive not only other people I didn't want to stop blaming other people, and stop blaming myself, forgive myself, because I'm human. Mindset, really seeing how my mindset is every single day, being intentionally like, how are you feeling today? What did you do? Did you feel good? Number 4 was accountability. Is like, you can't always depend on other people being accountable and helping you. Sometimes you can, but I wanted to be accountable to myself. And that was like the checklist and different things, like checking lists and celebrating myself. And then perseverance. And that perseverance was the why. Is I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make a baby step today. Even if I didn't make 3 steps, I'm going to make 1 step. And it's amazing. It just slowly, and then it's like anything else. It's like putting something in the bank and watching it grow. And it maybe was only 20, just for an example, say $50 a week, and seeing it. The next thing you know, it's $100. Then it's 150. And if you're getting interest in someplace, then it's 300, and then it's 400. This is what happened. It's just kind of started to roll like this, but it was all in baby steps. And now, and it put me in a place that, 13 years later, of being very solid in the black, and my business is good. And now I can do a lot of things. And now I can, and I was always giving back. I actually always kind of mentored people for free, because I felt it was important if I mentored people. But now I want to start giving back. And even didn't mention, but even in my Confident You app, percentage of the membership fees goes back into the community. So like, for instance, if people or women maybe needed a little help to pay that bill to get on their feet, then I might be able to help them do that type of thing. So it's that kind of thing that's really important to me. So giving back within the community, not just, I want to be able to give to charities too, but I also think it's good to give back within. So that's important to me too. And 13 years ago, and I'm 70 now. So it's like, and I see so many great things ahead of me, that everything is a number. So I also want to, if the people that are listening to you, that age is just a number. It's really how you feel. Now you have to have your health. It means otherwise, if you're not healthy, you don't feel good, right? So I really work on those kinds of things. But it really is de-stressing yourself, pausing, really refueling myself, and building the confidence. And I see 20 years of fun stuff ahead of me. I mean, my friends, a lot of them retired, and they asked me, Patricia, when did you retire? And I'm like, I don't want to. I'm having too much fun. I'm enjoying myself. And now, now I can do some things that I can give back and help people and help women. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, first let's back up. You're
Okay.
70. I would have
70.
never guessed. I'm like, no way. You are lying. I'm like,
well, thank you very much. But
like, you can tell you really embodied what you're teaching, and that you're really living life and having fun. Because I look around, you're the same age as my mom, and I look around at her friends, and I'm just like, they're not having fun.
And that's the key.
And that's the problem.
It really is a key, because I want to live life and not let life live me. And I was letting life live me before. And it makes a difference in your stress, because stress ages you, and it can make you sick. And I also moved negative people out of my life, and if there was family, I just stepped back. I just didn't see them every week, maybe once a month. So then I would, and then when I went to see them, I put a bubble over myself, like, I'm going to let bouncing things bounce off me. So it's how you perceive things and how you look at things, and it all builds that confidence up, though. So confidence can be built in so many different ways, in small ways, every single day. But a lot of people just don't know really where to start. And again, it's just really that stopping and pausing and breathing is the first best thing you can do. And then taking that little step out of that comfort zone, because boy, it's so easily to get comfortable. And it's funny, because as I look back at 57, when I was going through this, I was kind of like on a hamster wheel, because I wasn't breaking those negative behaviors. Because what happens is you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you get the same results. So I had to step out of my comfort zone to break that cycle. But it's so easy to fall back into those negative behaviors if you're not careful. And so it's really important that you have to acknowledge them and bring them out. And I had to unpack that suitcase, because I had compartmentalized many, many things in those suitcases. And I was like, ooh, gotta unpack it. And that's why when I told you those 5 words, I unpack those every single day. And I do it every night. And it makes me sleep well. And it's like, I did the best I could do today. And tomorrow I'll start again.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And have a good time.
Right? I'm like, I am so in love with your energy. Like, it's just, I don't know, like unpacking all of these things in a way that is fun and playful. It's
Yes.
so rare
Well,
to
that's
see
why,
that.
that was so fun. I was trying to figure out fun ways to do with my app. Like, how can I do a confidence scavenger hunt where you can bring back things, like find something that made you feel confident and bring it back to the community so they can try things. So I'm just trying to step out of my comfort zone and think of many things that I can bring value also. And I think that in general, just people who just want to change their life is just stepping out of their comfort zone and trying making it fun, just like I did with the
Yes.
groceries and the scavenger hunt, and looking for the positive in things. And it's hard for a lot of people because there's a lot of negative things in the world around us right now. And what I tell a lot of people is we can only control ourselves within and how what we're thinking, and how we perceive. We can't control everything around us, but if we sometimes allow it to affect us. If it's out of our control, literally, if you can't do something, okay, then you've got to just control your emotions, and you can control what you can. And maybe, just maybe, if you think positive and move forward, then that energy and those actions can maybe just help that one person that can set off another, like pay it forward or set off another energy thing. Because when there's more good energy in the world, then you will see more energy flow, because we are energy, right? We're all
Right.
energy. And it's so funny. Some people don't quite get that, but I try to explain it to them. Like, so like when you walk into a room full of people and all of a sudden you go, oh, something's over there is negative. I can feel it. How many times have you said that, oh, I can feel the negative energy over there, it's not good? And you say, well, I think I'll go over to this part over here. It's the same thing. Except, either that or go into that negative world and bring your positive energy into it. And it's amazing how you can change people's thoughts and ideas just by bringing in your positive energy in. So it's just another way of looking at things.
Oh, yes, 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 and yes. Just look at things differently and get off that hamster wheel of
Yeah.
those negative
Every,
things, because although it's not what you want, it's comfortable there. And that's one of the things I struggled with, is like, but I know this uncomfort. Like, I'm safe in this discomfort because I know it's just what it's gonna be.
well, yeah,
But if
you're
it's good
used
and
to
it's
it.
taken away.
You're used to it. You know what I found a great way of saying this now is that I've gotten comfortable with being uncomfortable. And if you look at it that way, it's like, wow, the more you do something, the more you want to try something. It's like if you didn't, if you're learning a new language or going someplace new, and then if anything that you try new, it takes you a while, right? It sometimes takes you a while to, I mean, like you on the podcast. I'm sure that didn't come to you like immediately, right? It's scary.
I got very lucky.
Okay, you were like,
I'm not the normal
well,
story, but
well, it's
it does for most people. All my clients, yes, it does
yes,
take a
it
while.
takes a while, and it's like, I don't want to do this. It's scary. I don't like the way I look, blah, blah, blah. Then the more you do of it, you're like, oh, whatever, it is, I'm just going to be me. And it just gets more and more normal. And then it's just trying to push yourself out of that comfort zone just a little bit further. And look at it as a game. Like I try to look at life as a game so much, it's again having fun and enjoying it. And what could be on that other side of that? Maybe it might be fun. And if I don't like it, okay, well then I'll change it up and maybe try something different. But I'll never know. And gosh, if I never know, I don't want to die and go, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I want to say, I gave it a shot, dang it. You
Right.
know? Yeah, that's how I want to be. And but really, I think I agree with you so much. You just got to have fun. You just got to have fun.
I'm pretty sure that I tagged on to that for you too, is that, it is all about having fun. And I think that is what is beautiful about what you're creating and you're giving back. And, I know you have a bunch of other things. You have an amazing book, you have, your programs and all of this, but I
Yeah.
really feel the love behind this app and how it really, for me, I love talking to people that aren't going to be ripples, because we're told all of our lives, go out and be a ripple. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna be a tsunami. And I feel like this
Exactly.
app is gonna be your
Gonna be
tsunami.
nice tsunami. Yes. I love that. I love that. I'm gonna use that. I love that.
You should.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
be my tsunami. It's so funny.
yeah. your tsunami of change, because I do think that we're powerful enough to be more than a ripple.
Absolutely. We all are. And it's just telling yourself and giving yourself permission. It's okay to be powerful, and it's okay to be a powerful woman, and it's okay to be a confident woman. It's not being a bitch. It's just being confident in your own skin and just liking yourself. I like myself now. 20 years ago or 13 years ago, I probably didn't like myself as much as I do now, because too many people are comparing themselves. And I now just embrace my total uniqueness, little nuttiness, little off the cusp, out of the box. And I'm like, my friends are like, you're just so entertaining. And I'm like, good, I'm glad. And then embracing that and saying, it's okay, because there's nobody else like me. There's nobody else like you. That's what's so great about it.
That's what makes you magical and magnetic.
That's right. Thank you. I'm going to take that too. So
there you go. Take them all.
I'm taking them all, girl.
So if someone were to walk away with just that one little thing that they take to heart, what would you want that to be?
The main thing is, I'm going to say, and again, it's the simplest thing in the world, is whatever you decide to do, just take a baby step. Because I think too many people, they make this big program and they make this big business plan, and they make it, which is great. You need to do that. But take a baby step to work into it. And the other thing is that you don't have to be perfect, because there's so many people that want to, that's actually two baby step, and just do it. You don't need to do it perfectly, because nothing is perfect. Everything is ebb and flow. You got to know that you're going to pivot. You're going to, swing this way. You're like, well, okay, I got to pivot this way. Oh, that didn't quite work. I got to pivot this way, and let the ebb and flow happen. And perfection is not a good thing, because you'll never get perfection. So you probably won't get a lot done. You can always fix things later if you have to, but so baby steps, and do not expect to be perfect, because guess what? You're human, and you're never going to be perfect.
Yes. I'm like, you are just speaking to my heart. I'm like, my other brand is the perfectly imperfect entrepreneur.
Exactly.
I'm like,
yes, I'm imperfectly perfect.
Like,
yes.
Do the thing. I love that.
Yeah.
Love
I
that.
say that all the time. I'm imperfectly perfect, and I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Embrace the uniqueness, embrace the
Yeah.
weirdness.
It's hard for, but I want to say that I know, first of all, I want to tell people, though, I know it's not easy. I want to be real. It is hard, but if you're intentional about it, and if you truly want to make a change, then that baby step is the way to go. And reminding yourself, it doesn't have to be the perfect baby step.
Yes. Not perfect. Take the baby steps, move forward, embrace confidence as your superpower, do all the things.
Yeah. And do the things, and live life, and do not let life live you. Yeah.
I love that. That's your quotable right there.
That's right.
One of the many that you've dropped during this episode. But if somebody wanted to, we know that you have your app, and you can get that on, you said Google Store or the Apple Store.
Or the Apple app. Yeah, Apple Store or Google Play. It's Confident You with a U. So Confident You. And you can you can go to patricialove.com. You can download it, for free there. So there's all kinds of things you can go there and get for free. And you can even download the app for free there too. So if you want to just kind of see who I am, there's some free audios to get you started.
And that's the best way to connect with you.
Yeah, I think so. patricialove.com or Instagram, Coach Love, Patricia Love. Easy. Either way.
Yes. We
all
like
good.
Easy and fun. So what is the one thing that you were going to do in the next 5 days?
Oh, in the next 5 days. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm taking my cat out. We're going for a travel. My cat travels with me. Yeah. And so we're headed off to it's called the East Side. It's in Bellevue, and we're going to go to the fair.
Fun.
Yeah, she gets to go with me, so it's kind of fun. I have this great travel Maine Coon. She loves to go, so that's what we're gonna do. And I have fun every day, because I live on a boat right now when I'm in Seattle, Washington, And I have a house in Arizona, but when I'm up here, I live on my boat, and so I have fun every day. So when you say like, what am I gonna do in 5 days? I'm like, well, every day I have fun. So let me, it's always gonna be something. But yeah, I'm gonna go to a fair, so that'll be fun.
Is your cat on your boat with you?
Yes.
I love that. It's a I'm like, oh, yes, I'm so excited we met. I thank you so much for being part of this podcast and my movement of the tsunami of self-love. I
Yeah.
very much so appreciate you, and I'm just grateful for everything you're putting out in the world.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really